Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Cricket Castaway. India versus Sri Lanka is going on sweetly, and to discuss all things that happened in the T20 world, in the T20 series for the leg, and also what's gonna happen in the one day. I have with me Divyansh. How are you, Divyansh? And how's everything back in Pune?
Yeah, it's good. It's raining heavily, and then there is another 2 3 days of orange alert for a heavy downpour. But yeah, so far it's going good, and also enjoying the Sri Lanka versus India series in parallel. And now the T20 World Cup stars are back. So Rohit and Kohli are back in the one day squad. So it's getting even more
Yeah,
interesting to see how they progress in this series and what is their you can say what is their stance on the way of playing ODI cricket now. So yeah, pretty
yeah.
pretty interesting series coming up.
Yeah, I think Sri Lanka. This Let's start with the T20s first of all. I think Sri Lanka, for me, had a better chance of winning the T20 leg of the series more than the one dayers, simply because it's a shorter format and a lot more unpredictability is possible in the T20 version of it rather than the one days. But uh, they tried to give it a fight, especially in the last game. But I think the result was as we expected, and India went on to win the series quite comfortably.
Yes, that's true. There were crucial moments where they could have at least won two T20 matches in the series, but they let it slip through their hands, and it was always the you can say the collapse of post third or fourth wicket. The
Yeah,
middle order and the lower middle order just quickly collapsed in a span of 30 odd runs. So for all the three T20s, we saw the same scene, like 6 or 7 wickets falling under a span of 30 odd runs. So that's where they couldn't maybe just cope with pressure, or it was a fairly inexperienced side because of the injury concerns that Sri Lanka team is facing. So it's a mix of both inexperience as well as not able to handle pressure at the business end of the match. So I think, yeah, it was a mix of both.
I think one of the serious concerns for Sri Lanka now, that we have seen them even in the T20 World Cup and before that as well. I think serious concern for them is a good middle order pair. I mean, they do have openers who time and again give them good starts, reasonable starts, to be honest. And just It's just that phase where for India, you get a Surya or a Shivam Dube or a Rinku. Uh, they're all players who would in the T20 format either get going or according to the situation of the game, maybe take a few deliveries, settle down, and not lose your calm, just so that even if you're not reaching a, let's say, a 200 kind of a score, you still get a respectable 180 on most days. I think Sri Lanka is just missing that number three, number four kind of a batter, and also a finisher. These are the three positions that they really need to find someone if they want to become the side that they used to be in the 90s and the 2000s. Because otherwise, they're just falling short every now and then.
Yeah, that's true. And basically, it's a failure of two guys which Sri Lanka relies a lot upon. One is the captain Charita Salanka himself. He couldn't score in the entire T20 series. Plus, Dasun Shanaka, who is a very handy all rounder, bowls medium pace as well as also plays good innings in T20s. He also couldn't open his account in the first two T20s. So that's where the middle order is failing.
Yeah.
So they are yet to find a suitable replacement for Angelo Matthews, who they did not consider for the series because of his inconsistencies, and also due to the age factor, they wanted to look ahead in the future. But I think the problem is not yet resolved for Sri Lankan middle order, so that's where the problem lies.
And and Shanaka was also the captain of the Sri Lankan side in the ODI World Cup as well as the T20 Asia Cup leg of the event. Uh,
Yes.
and he wasn't really firing an year ago as well. And so was the Sri Lanka. So they try and keep switching the captaincy around, but never switching the players, I would say. And the reasons could be manifold. Probably the selectors feel that they don't have the talent underneath to maybe replace these two, or probably they just banking too much on them to come good. But I think I've seen both Asalanka and Shanaka now for a good year and a half, and but there's a performance here and there, but not as consistent, not consistent at all, basically. And that means that you do get good starts, but more often than not you end up losing the game.
Yeah,
So
that's true. And also there was one more guy who Sri Lanka relies on to give them that additional 20-30 runs at the end. So this is Vanindu Hasaranga I'm talking about. So he was doing decent with the ball, but with the bat, it's almost negligible results. So two runs in the first T20, a duck in the second, and then in the third match they tried him pushing up the order, maybe to just consolidate after the top three falls. So there also he could only manage 3 runs. So overall 5 runs in 3 matches. So this also collectively led to Sri Lanka's collapse in this T20 series.
yeah, but I'm not really much concerned about Hasaranga, if you ask me, simply because he has two skills to bring in the game. So most of
Yes.
the times his bowling is pretty accurate. He's very good with the ball, and also considering the fact that he's just coming back from an injury, so I mean it takes a bit of time to get back into the swing of things. And he's done fairly well in the ODI game that we just saw yesterday. So I think Hasaranga is just a bit out of form with the bat. Uh, would be good going forward for them in even in the T20s with the bat, because we've seen him dislodge a lot of balls to the boundary even in the IPL as well.
Yes.
The concern I think here is not as much as Hasaranga. It's just Shanaka and Asalanka, because as you rightly said, Shanaka balls bit of medium pace, Asalanka balls a bit of spin. Their second skills are also not coming into the game as much as they would like. Probably they ball an over here or there, which doesn't really help the cause of the team per se. So I think it's the middle order that they really need sorting out. They do need a pacer somewhere there, because now that Pathirana is injured. Pathirana is their X factor. There is no doubt about that. They need someone to back up Pathirana. But overall, I think when Pathirana is in the side and Hasaranga is in the side, the bowling is sorted. Their opening batters till the number four spot are fairly good. I think they can give a match to most sides. It's just that middle order that keeps letting them down, and the result is that they're not able to progress either in the world events or in the bilateral series.
Yeah, that's true. They have to figure it out, like who can be a reliable player to be uh, trusted with the responsibility of carrying the innings in T20s as well as ODIs. Especially for T20s, we need someone who can just bring a sense of calmness while there is
Yeah,
a fall of wickets, and then accelerate at the in the last 6 overs. So that's where they are lacking, and I
yeah,
think Sanat Jasurya might be working in the background to identify the suitable
yeah,
replacements, and
yeah,
maybe in upcoming 3 to 4 months we may see some young faces, maybe from Lanka Premier League to try out their hand in the international level, and see if they are up to the
yeah.
task.
Yeah. Having said that, I think Nisanka has really shown in this series, and his knocks were particularly exciting, as well as really, really a good sign for their opening slot. At least, I think he's one of those players who can easily take a game away from the opposition when he's on song.
Yeah, definitely. Good starts, and like 79 in the first match, then a
Yeah,
30 odd in the second, and a quick fire 26 in the last T20 match. So he has been consistent in performing, and with a good strike rate as well. So
yeah,
it gives a lot of support at the start for Sri Lanka to have a guy like Pathum Nisanka, and he's fairly consistent and very he can turn gears and play
yeah,
aggressive cricket as well when required.
yeah,
So yeah, that's a good find for Sri Lanka in this series, and this is one of the biggest plus points that they
yeah.
would take away from this series.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I really liked his temperament, his batting style. His He can clear the boundaries, but he takes his opportunities at the right moment. He doesn't lose his calm, which are really good signs going forward for Sri Lanka. Coming back to India, they won the T20 leg of the series. I think the performances overall were good. They weren't all of them weren't playing to the best of their abilities, but overall a good start. There's also a hangover that comes after winning the T20 World Cup. So, considering all those things, I was expecting them to cruise past in this T20 series, and there were a few hiccups here and there. But overall, I think the Indian side performed exceedingly well in this T20 leg of the tournament.
Yeah, definitely, and it was a mix of young players and just the experience of Hardik and you can say Surya. So I think they did very well under the new captaincy, under the new coach, and they look like they are gelling well with the new
Yeah,
management team. And yeah, even Yashasvi Jaiswal was however long he played some really good
yeah,
shots. His timing was on point, and he was totally aggressive and positive in his approach, and like played 180 plus strike rates
yeah,
in both of the innings. So yeah, it was a good sight to see, and there was just yeah, we will come to that, but from that opening slot, I think Yashasvi Jaiswal and Shubman Gill did justice to the trust that Gautam Gambhir has inflicted in them, and yeah, they were up to the task when the time came.
yeah. I think uh, considering the big shoes to fill, when you see that Rohit and Virat both are not now the part of the T20 international setup. Uh, Shubman Gill has already laid a claim. He's the vice captain of the side. He had to be there. It needed to be a good outing for Yashasvi, not just with the runs, but with the strike rate as well, considering the fact that Abhishek Sharma is just waiting in the corners, and he just goes all guns blazing right from the word go. So Yashasvi needed to have that 180 plus strike rate, however long he played, and he did. got India to good starts, and it looked really good till the time he was there, and nobody doubts his class. We've seen it in the test matches. We've seen it everywhere. Like he's a really good player. It's just that during the IPL season as well, he wasn't among the runs. Just simply after the England Test series, he just went out of form, and there were no signs of recovery as such. And but now it looks good. There are green shoots with this series, and he is looking like the Yashasvi that we saw a year and a half ago, which is a good thing. As you rightly mentioned, uh, we have been big advocates of Sanju Samson in on this channel. We really like the way he plays. His record in IPLs is for all to see. He's such a calm and composed batsman. But it's basically a Jekyll and Hyde kind of a situation going on with him in the international circuit and in the domestic leagues, because whenever he comes and gets his opportunities in the internationals, doesn't seem to take it at all, and happened again in this series. I mean, didn't play the first game, two ducks in the second and the third. What's going on with him?
Yeah, definitely. I think there is a pressure of proving himself in the little chances that he gets here and there, maybe in the Caribbean tour and during the tours of Sri Lanka and other subcontinent countries. So somehow it gets in his mind that he has to prove himself in this series itself, and just have to give a maybe like extraordinary innings or performance. And I think that pressure adds up, and also now that Rishabh Pant is back in the side, so the pressure is more because the team already has a designated wicket keeper, so he has to contribute in a single department, that is his batting. He cannot make it up with any other in any other area. So I think that kind of psychological pressure builds in his mind, and that leads to the failure, because he was too quick to jump the gun in the first T20 and just tried to slash his way through the bowling order, whereas it was not the situations were not so conducive like a Bangalore flat pitch that he can just outrightly blast the opposition. So that's where I think it's a clarity of thoughts that he is lacking right now. Maybe if Gautam Gambhir talks with him and just give him the assurance that like moving forward, whenever a T20 series is planned, he is there in the scheme of things. So he does not need to worry about every time he comes to the ground that he has to perform or give a man of the match performance. Maybe that can calm things down for him. But yeah, right now I think these are the scenarios that might be playing in his mind.
Yeah, I don't think they'll persist a lot with him at this stage, simply because there are a lot of players in the middle order who are trying to get in, trying to get a sniff in there, and as you rightly said, I mean, Sanju, if he is bringing only that one skill into the game, and you already have Rishabh, who is a designated keeper in this side, then this he can Gotham would be looking for, then trying someone who can bring a second skill into the game in that situation, and uh, just simply keeping Sanju Samson as a backup for Rishabh Pant, it's just taking on a spot, I think. So let's see how it happens, because it's not the first time that Sanju has been now given a lot of chances in the international circuit, and it's just that he performs brilliantly in the IPLs, gets his international shots in the subsequent series post the IPL, isn't able to take it, and then the entire year he is missing from the squad. That it's happened now. It's not a it's not something that's happened just once or twice. It happens almost every year. Sanju usually does have a good IPL season. His simply his mindset in those situations in the IPL is completely different. I've never seen Sanju slash the first ball out, trying to basically murder the ball in the first one or two deliveries in an IPL game. He would assess the conditions, take his time. He himself knows that he has the big game to counter any situation, and probably he'll get a boundary in his first 6 or 7 balls, but that's about it. And then he starts getting into the groove and starts taking the spinners on and the pacers on, and when he's back in the dugout, his strike rate is around 180, and that's his game. But just trying to hit right from the word go is not what I associate Sanju Samson with, and that's led to his downfall. Do you think he's getting any more chances in the Bangladesh series or something like that?
I think yes, maybe Gautam Gambhir will give him some more chances because he's still trying to uh, like structure a team for the next T20 World Cup, and there is still a long way to go. It's in 2026, so I think yes, maybe he tries him out, but there would be a lack of opportunities if Parag performs consistently well and Hardik and Rian both play in the side, then there is no place for Sanju Samson because we already have a Rishabh Pant in the team. So that's where the things would become slightly difficult for Sanju Samson. But maybe here and there he will be tried out again to see if the temperament is still there to play at the international level. Otherwise, yeah, but things would get tough from here for Samson. He would get some chances, but they would not be as consistent since now Washington Sundar and Riyan Parag are in the scheme of things. And as soon as they start performing fairly consistently with the bat, they bring multiple skills into the picture. So things would get difficult for Sanju Samson then.
Oh, I think Gautam would also want to give chance to somebody like a Jitesh Sharma,
Yes.
simply because the top order is locked, right? So you have Yashasvi and Shubman Gill opening, and then for the backup you have Abhishek Sharma in there. Then on number three you have Rishabh Pant, which is the golden boy of Indian cricket. If you want to try someone as a backup for Rishabh Pant, yeah, at number three, obviously it is Sanju Samson. But let's say if you want someone not at the number three slot, then Jitesh Sharma is the kind of player you need who is very good at finishing the game and everything. So I think there's also competition for Sanju, not just from Rishabh Pant, but also from Jitesh, who is just waiting in the wings, and he is a power hitter himself, and just needs 5 or 10 balls to change the game. So I think it's going to be a bit difficult for Sanju to if he gets another chance and fails in that, then I think it would be curtains at least for this year, and then IPL cycle starts again.
Yeah.
Uh, what do any other takeaways from this side?
Yeah, I think in this series, Rinku Singh also couldn't fire like he was supposed to. So just 1 or 2 runs in the first match. Second match, he didn't get a chance to bat, and in the third match again, he I think went out for a single run. So 2 runs, 2 to 3 runs in the two chances that he got. So also certainly poses questions on his match finishing abilities because he was always sent to just accelerate the scoring and just add some additional runs. But instead of that, what we got was just another break in the progression of the innings, and Rinku just taking one or
Yeah,
two balls and just getting out. So
yeah.
although he will get more chances since he has the trust of Gautam Gambhir, but yeah, it certainly poses some questions on if Rinku Singh is also able to capitalize on the international opportunities that he's getting.
Yeah, yeah, completely agree. What do you think about Surya Kumar Yadav, the bowler?
Yeah, that's that. I think it's more of a uh, it was more in terms of it was in a fun sense. I don't think he was expecting to get any wickets. He was just thinking that maybe if he bowls wicket to wicket, he can probably stem the flow of runs and build pressure on Sri Lanka. But it was the inexperience and pressure getting to Sri Lanka, so they played equal parts in uh, giving Surya the debut wickets that he got. So yeah, but yeah, it's good to know that that the captain is also able to roll his arms if required.
Yeah.
So we have some more
I mean,
options.
the game was lost at that point of time. I mean,
Yes,
Sri
yes,
Lanka was right in cruise, and they were going to win this one. And then comes Surya and takes those wickets. It's funny. But moving on, I think what I've seen from Gotham in these first few matches is that he's just trying to find uh, which players can give him a second skill as well in this team, right? So, like
yes.
Rinku has bowled, Rian has bowled consistently, Shivam Dube has bowled, now Surya has bowled. So all of these players are coming in and rolling their arms, and which is a good sign. I think you do need options as a coach and a manager. Uh, a good thing. I think he should keep trying these things. Specifically, I think for Rian and Shivam, I think they are because they bowl a lot in their domestic circuit. So I think these two can be genuine finds if we persist with them.
Definitely.
What do you think? Yeah, what do you think about the approach of finding the second skill in the team and also Surya Kumar Yadav's captaincy in this first series?
Yeah, Surya Kumar Yadav's captaincy was fantastic. Like he was able to, like those were some good bowling changes that he did in these three T20 matches, and he's really calm and cool in his head, and like he is kind of uh, inspired from how Rohit Sharma uh, does his captaincy. So he follows a similar approach in while being the captain of the team, and he gives a free hand to the bowlers, and he shows a lot of confidence in youngsters as well. Like you try your hand, and I'm okay with the results, and we'll accept if it does not turn out good for the team. So yeah, it's a very calm and pleasing captaincy. And coming on Gautam Gambhir's strategy, so yeah, there is two aspects that he is really hell bent on figuring out. So one is this finding players with multiple skills, at least for the T20 format, and also maintaining the left hand right hand combination throughout the order. So these are the two things that he is really very fond of, and I think that this may turn out quite well, because in the uh, if we look at the history of Indian cricket, we are not very consistent in maintaining this left and right hand combination, because simply because of the lack of left-handers that we get in the international side. So that's a very pleasing change to see. And even Rinku Singh got a couple of wickets in that match. So I think yeah, it's he wants to make sure that there is no dearth of bowling options. So if
Yeah,
11 players are bowling, if 11 players
yeah,
are playing the match, so at least 8 or 9 should be able to bowl. So
yeah,
that's the path that he is right now on. So yeah, I think it's good for T20 cricket, because you never know. It's a funny format, and you can get wicket from anywhere. So you have to have the options to
yeah.
try whenever the need arises.
Yeah, I think overall a good first outing for Gautam Gambhir. We saw, as you rightly said, glimpses of the ideas that he has for his team. Now let's see if he keeps building on that, because if it's something, as you rightly said, if he's hell bent on that, then we'll see this over and over again. And out of that, I think also then will come out a few all rounders which we in the start didn't think that they might be all rounders, as you rightly said. Rinku Singh might turn out to be a guy with two genuine skills and finds his place in the team every now and then. So yeah, a good first view of Gautam Gambhir and Surya Kumar Yadav's captaincy. And then moving forward to the game that we just had yesterday, I mean, 230 with Rohit and Virat both back. Also KL Rahul, the three, as they call the Tridev of the Indian side. I don't think it was a big total, to be honest. I mean, we did really well to restrict them to 230. Though I was really impressed by Vellalage, the way that he batted showed so much calm and maturity. But I mean, I don't think this was a draw. I couldn't have predicted it at the start of the second innings.
Yeah, definitely. Even Rohit Sharma said this total was gettable, and we just had to bat well throughout our innings, and that's what didn't happen. Like there were glimpses of brilliance, and there were partnerships in between. Like at the time when KL and Akshay was building a partnership, it was really good. At one time, even Shreyas Iyer and Virat Kohli were going good at a good rate, like 43 or 45 balls that partnership was building. But it was maybe we can say it was good on the spin quartet of Sri Lanka. So especially Velalage and Akila Dhananjaya, they bowled very well. They frustrated the Indian batters to and made life difficult for them to score runs, and that resulted in them playing some false shots and give away their wickets. Otherwise, it was going very well. So there were two instances. One was Shreyas and Virat's partnership, and then KL and Akshay were going very good. But then, just because of the lack of runs, KL attempted something out of the box, and it didn't work out well. So these were the key factors. And at the end, Shivam Dube was really going good. Like he struck two sixes and a four against Hasaranga, and it looked like the match will finish in the 47th over itself. But it was a pure moment of luck, or you can say a lack of concentration from Shivam Dube. So that's where we lost the game. But the like kudos to the spin quartet, like
Yeah,
Velalage, Akila Dhananjaya, Hasaranga, and even Charit Asalanka bowled very well, and like majority of the wickets were distributed amongst them. So and
yeah.
except Hasaranga, all the three bowlers I think were within 4 runs per over of economy. So they did very well to restrict the flow of runs.
Yeah, yeah. Let's. I think let's start from the beginning. Shivam Dube getting his wicket was amazing. He looks like a strong young middle order bowler for the ODI side, which if as again we said in the T20 itself. If Gotham keeps persisting with him, I think he is a good enough bowler to give you 4 5 wickets, 4 5 overs, sorry, every game in the middle. So I think Shivam as a bowler, I'm really trying to uh, uh, see more of in the future, which is good. Indian spinners as well did really well. Akshay got wickets. Kuldeep got wickets. Washington was also very good. But I'm a bit concerned about the form of Siraj. What do you think about him? Because last time when he was out in Sri Lanka, he was just demolishing them left, right, and center. But since then his form has just taken a dip, and he hasn't been good in the IPL and hasn't been good in the remaining in the subsequent series as well. And with Australia series coming up, I think it would be a bit of a concern for the team that Siraj is not performing to the level that we know that he can.
Yes, yeah, Siraj has been a very reliable bowler in terms of bowling longer spells in Test
Yeah.
cricket, and also a wicket-taking option in the limited over cricket. But recently, like last 6 months, uh, although he is still going under five or close to 5 runs per over, but his wicket-taking ability has gone down
Even the
drastically.
ball isn't swinging as much as it used to, or
Yes,
somehow.
yes, yeah. He was very lethal in the opening overs and moving the ball in both directions. But usually, right now, what I'm seeing is only the outswinger is working in his favor. He also manages to beat the players, but it's a little bit of luck as well that his outswingers, even though being deadly, are not turning out to be a wicket taking option. But also it also refers to the fact that since the deception of bowling that in dipper is not uh, uh, he's not being able to bring that out consistently, so he has become slightly predictable. So if you are a good if you are good at leaving the balls outside off stump, then you can survive the initial burst, and we see how quickly the swing goes away. Like in the first 3 overs itself, it's a matter of just the first 3 overs, and then the swing drops consistently, and then he just becomes a routine bowler, which is very predictable with his lengths and the consistent bounce that he gets. So that's where he is lagging. So I think he has to work on bringing some more
Yeah.
variations in his bowling that make him less predictable, and maybe work on that in swinger that he has somehow lost touch of. So it's just a matter of doing some slight
Sure.
changes, and maybe uh, he can work with maybe a Zahir Khan or a Shami, and then he can like he would be right back on track. So yeah, a slight work is needed with Siraj before we go the series down under. So yeah, that's true.
I think, as you rightly pointed out, it's a thing of variation. And the first thing that comes to my mind is the 2018 England series, where India went to England, which was, I think, the first WTC cycle or something like that. Bumrah wasn't then the bowler that he is now. And the major thing about that was Bumrah used to get the ball into the batsman, into the batsman, and he was very good as well at that point of time on his line length and Yorker, but his variation was to pitch the ball and get it in. And during that series, we saw for the first time Bumrah pitch the ball and it went outside the right-hander batsman, and that bamboozled Joe Root time and time again, and he could get the big wickets. And from there on, you could see that now he's swinging the ball both ways, and that then becomes a killer for any batsman when you can't predict the ball if it will come in or out. And that is what Siraj had all the while. As you rightly said, he could get the ball in and he could get the ball out. That is what Shami has. He could take the ball in and take the ball out. But now that his varieties are becoming a bit less, I think it's a matter of confidence. He does. Bumrah had to develop that outswinger because his action was that he wasn't able to ball that outswinger, so he had to work hard on it and develop it. But Siraj already has it. I think it's just a matter of confidence. Maybe when the bowler is just so pumped up and high on confidence, whatever he pitches, it comes out exactly the way that he thought in his head. Uh, but right now, when he's double guessing himself, probably it's just that the ball isn't seaming around as much as he has wants to, but I think he needs to work on it and get back into the form
Yeah.
as quickly as possible, because we are gonna need his services, as you rightly said, in Australia.
Yeah,
Uh,
because he's so good at bowling long spells like 8 to 10 overs on the trot, and
yeah,
with his line and length consistency, he can really frustrate the players, as the Australians can't stay long without scoring runs. So he
yeah,
would be very crucial, and
yeah,
maybe some time off at the MRF Pace Academy can
yeah,
do a world of wonders to him. It's just
mm,
that right now Bumrah has been rested and Shami is recovering from his injury, so he
yeah,
has to bowl. So otherwise,
yeah,
he he would get some time in the future before the like maybe around I think Shami would be fit before New Zealand arrives in India to play the Test
yeah,
series. So maybe at that time he might get some time to
yeah,
work on the skills, and it's just slight
yeah,
adjustments. Maybe someone has already observed. Maybe the bowling coach, if Morne Mokkal arrives by that time, he is also a really good at the
yeah,
art of swinging the ball, so he can help him out. Or maybe someone from our own country who has already figured out maybe a slight dip in the shoulder, a change in a slight adjustment in the action or the run up. Some things get changed when you come back from injury or you are rested for a long time, and they slowly creep into your action and just hamper your art of swinging. So these slight changes, I think he can get it done within a month itself if
yeah,
someone gives him the right guidance. So it's just a
yeah,
matter of time to figure that
yeah.
out.
Yeah, yeah. I think very rightly said. So moving on to the Indian batting, I mean the way Rohit started that innings, I mean it was vintage Rohit. He was just playing so fluently, and he gave Shubman the time to settle in, get his eye in. It was really sad to see Shubman get out early, simply because he looked set as well. But Rohit, when he is in that kind of a form, it's just a joy to watch him bat. And at that point of time, nobody thought that this would end up in a draw. Honestly,
Yeah, definitely. Because the start that we got, the power play was like a T20 power play, and Rohit
yeah,
just picked right off where he left in the
yeah,
T20 World Cup, and there was no sense of you can say rustiness or any signs of that he is back from a long break. Nothing was there, and he just picked it
yeah,
right off where he left. So it was a
yeah,
great sign for Indian cricket team, and I
yeah,
think Shubman maybe slightly overcautious in his approach.
yeah,
Although it's understandable that if Rohit is going gung ho from one side, so only one can be the aggressor in a partnership on the Sri Lankan pitches. But I think he could have slightly uh, uh, be more attacking or have shown more intent to score the runs. I think he just really went into his shell against Velalage. He could have tried some sweep
yeah,
shots or reverse sweep to just even not for the boundaries, at least to rotate the strike that so that he could have gotten some more confidence and not just got stuck into playing the defensive shots. So I
yeah.
think maybe he would see the clippings and realize that it was a bit more cautious than required. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the opening stance was good. Whatever said and done, we still had a 50 plus opening stand, and these two
Yes.
guys seems to keep on delivering 50 plus stands after 50 plus stands every other game. So I mean, the opening stand was good. After that, it was unfortunate to lose both Virat and Shreyas there, because they too again were looking pretty good, and I thought that they were going to take the side home. Batting at a decent strike rate, though it was a bit slower from what Rohit was doing, but still batting decently enough. I think, as you rightly said, going into the shell is something which I didn't notice that much with Shubman. I thought that he was just taking his time, but with the partnership of Akshar and KL, I thought it became glaringly obvious for me. I think that is where we could have basically put the accelerator down. I think KL and Aksar basically thought that there are a lot of balls left to play, and they were gonna just stroll home, and they kept consuming balls after balls. I remember at that point of time when Akshar hit a boundary after a long time. It was like after 50 odd balls that we hit a boundary, and that is where the pressure I think started building, because when KL and Akshar both got out in quick succession, it was a good innings from Shiva, but I think after consuming that many deliveries that they did in the middle order, one of them had to stay till the end to guide the side home.
Yeah, definitely. I think KL should have been there because he was playing like at a fair strike rate, like close to 70, and it was Akshar who, for some overs in the period where Dhananjay and Velalage were bowling, he couldn't score or he couldn't even rotate the strike. Like I was seeing, there were maidens and 2 runs overs in that spell, and if we see like Akshar, although he at the end he tried to accelerate and he hit a six and two boundaries, but still he could only manage to play at a strike rate of less than 60. Usually Akshar has always been positive with his batting, and whenever he gets the chance he scores at the opportunity when the opportunity comes. But I think in this match maybe he was slightly uh, under the impression that he would accelerate when the in the last 10 overs, and then they will get home easily. Also, the required rate was low throughout the innings because of the start that we got, like 75 runs in the first 12 overs itself. So only 4.5 were required throughout the innings. So the required run rate never went past 5 runs per over. So maybe that was the thinking behind it. But ultimately, he got trapped, and he couldn't accelerate at the right time.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, overall, I think it's unfortunate that we drew this game, because honestly speaking, there was no way I thought that we would be drawing this game. Also, in the end, I mean, Arshdeep, there were a lot of balls left. He could have just taken a single, but I think these things happen. But for you, as our panel says, do you think this is a sign of concern, or was this simply just a one-off, and India will go on to win this series? Because honestly speaking, we haven't lost a bilateral against them in 25 odd years or something like that. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think it was just a one-off. Maybe the move of playing Washington Sundar before Shivam Dubey, it was slightly maybe more. You can say it was an experiment that could have been avoided. Like Sundar is a good batsman, but he should play in the 6, 7, or 8 only. I think Shivam Dubey is a better batsman than him, and he should have, if some left-hander batsman was to be sent up the order, it should have been Shivam Dubey. It would have
Yeah,
given him a better opportunity to prove himself, which he also did anyways in the end. But
yeah.
yeah, I think
I
that
think I
move,
think
it was a
I think
slight
it was Akshar for me who would have been sent up, because he has done this time and time again, and
yeah, yeah.
he is someone who would have batted comfortably with Virat Kohli and taken the game forward. But as you rightly said, I think it wasn't Washington Sundar, simply also because he hasn't had that many outings as well at
Yes,
this
yes.
point of time. Uh,
That's true.
so it again, just like we talked about Hasaranga, it takes a bit of time to get back into the swing of things, and when you're getting a chance here and there, it's very difficult. If even if you wanted to save Shivam Dubey for the end flurry, I think it was Akshar then who was to be
Yes.
promoted.
That's true. So I think it's just a minor blip in the bigger scheme of things, and it's very rare. Like 0.1%, only 0.1%, or I think 0.5% of the times that it has happened. Like out of 4,500 ODIs that have been played till this time, only 44 have turned out
Yeah,
as a tied match. So it's a very rare occasion in a one day international, and in these times, in the modern times of T20 cricket, that something uh, of this sort happens and a tie occurs. So I think it's a minor setback, or you can say a one-off thing, and India will come strong again on the match scheduled on Sunday, and it is
yeah,
the same pitch, so they would be more aware of how they can get stuck in the spin web of Sri Lankans, and they would like maybe strategize better, or
yeah,
align themselves in a way that they should not allow the spinners to overpower the middle order. And I
yeah,
think
and
Shreyas Iyer could play a very good role in that, because
yeah,
he's such a good player of spin, and
yeah,
he was playing very well. It's just he is also coming
yeah,
back after such a long break, so it took him some time to get
yeah,
into the scheme of things. But I think he's a very
yeah,
good player of spin, and he will. I'm expecting a very good performance in the
yeah.
next match from Shreyas Iyer.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. I was saying, Shreyas and Virata and KL, all three of them aren't gonna miss out a second time around. So I think this was a one-off. But the question is, do we now need a super over kind of a thing for one days as well to be introduced? I mean, though it happens very rarely, but whenever it happens, I think it's just a bit more fun to have that end spectacle.
Yeah, I think yeah, super over, or if you want to separate this from a T20 format, you can have a bowl out like we used to have in
Yeah.
T20, the inaugural
Yeah.
T20 World Cup. So that is also a good way of
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
uh, good way of sorting things out. And I think, yeah, it adds a very good element, and it's just a rule that has to be amended, and
yeah.
anyways it will happen maybe twice or thrice in a decade. So yeah, it can be a fun
No,
element to add.
but but it can happen in a situation like England versus New Zealand World Cup final. So
Yes,
I
yes.
mean, you don't want those kind of matches to be decided on the number of boundaries scored, right?
Correct,
So
correct.
I
Yeah,
think test matches it's fine.
it's fine.
You can have a draw. Uh, but then again, what happens like in a World
WTC
T20
final.
final when when it gets drawn? So you share the trophy. I mean, what's the point of having a final when you share a trophy? So I think these are the kind of things that need to be discussed. But yeah, overall, well, I think this was an interesting game. When you win three games in a row in a series, it becomes a bit monotonous. So I think this tie just was a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and any last words, Divyansh?
Yeah, I think the team is going in a good direction, and uh, like we have already got a glimpse of the limited over format, and uh, the team is going good. And let's see what also happens in the test format, how that turns out. So I'm also looking forward to that. And also there are some developments going on in parallel in the IPL scenario. So also eagerly waiting for BCCI
Yeah,
to come back with the finalized guidelines. What is the
yeah,
retention? What are
yeah,
the retention rules? Would Dhoni be an uncapped player or not? So these are some open questions hovering over cricket lovers'
yeah.
mind. So yeah, looking forward to getting these questions answered by the end of this month.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting with the IPL retention rule. I think it's gonna be really interesting, and let's see. I guess we are eagerly waiting for the mega auctions, but that's we'll cross that bridge when it comes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this was the Cricket Castaway, and hope you like this episode. Keep showing the love, keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing, and yeah, bye bye for now.
Thank you. Bye bye.